Welcome to The Explainer. You've got big dreams, right? You can clearly see yourself succeeding, and you imagine this ideal life so vividly it's practically real. But when it's time to actually sit down and do the work, you just freeze. You wait. You feed yourself that incredibly familiar, comfortable lie. Tomorrow's gonna be different. And then, of course, tomorrow rolls around and you do the exact same thing all over again. Well, let's dive into this. Because if you've ever felt wildly ambitious, but also incredibly lazy, bursting with ideas, but completely stuck in the mud, this explainer is absolutely going to change how you look at your own mind. So, think about this for a second. Why do we freeze when it's time to work? I mean, why is it that you know exactly what you should be doing, you know for a fact you're capable of doing it, and yet you just can't seem to make yourself move? It's paralyzing, isn't it? You're fully aware that you are the only one standing in your own way, and man, that internal friction is just exhausting.
You are ambitious, but stuck. I really want you to let that sink in. The crucial takeaway here is that this isn't about you being a bad or flawed person. It's not about a lack of intelligence, and it is definitely not about a lack of talent. What you're experiencing right now is pure psychology. It's about these deeply ingrained, hardwired patterns in your brain that have built up over years. But here's the incredibly good news. If a pattern was built, it can absolutely be dismantled and changed.
Section 1. The Trap of Tomorrow. Let's understand this cycle.
Okay, let's walk through a timeline you probably know a little too well. It's morning. You wake up with fantastic intentions. Today is the day. I'm going to take that first step. But then you grab your phone. Just for a second, you scroll for a few minutes, and somehow those few minutes vanish into an hour, and suddenly half your day is totally gone. Noon rolls around and you bargain with yourself, right? Okay, I'll start right after lunch. But by the afternoon, you're sluggish, you feel unmotivated, and you officially push it to tomorrow, because tomorrow you'll supposedly have so much more energy. And finally, night falls. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling this overwhelming guilt. You're disappointed because deep down, you know you just wasted another day. It's a cycle that repeats for months, maybe even years.
Section 2. The Psychology of Avoidance. Let's look under the hood.
This completely flips the script on who's to blame. You are basically living in a constant state of biological conflict. One part of you has these massive dreams and sets goals, but your ancient lizard brain, it just wants comfort. It wants safety. When you think about tackling your goals, your brain literally perceives that as a threat. It sees effort, it sees uncertainty, and it sees the terrifying possibility of failure. So because your brain is hardwired to avoid pain at all costs, it slams the big red button and triggers survival mode. It tosses you an easy way out. Hey, just scroll on your phone, play a video game, watch a quick clip. And when you take the bait, your brain rewards you with a nice, warm hit of dopamine. The discomfort vanishes for a minute, and your brain learns, avoiding our goals makes us safe. But here's the devastating trade-off. While your brain genuinely thinks it's doing you a massive favor by wrapping you up in short-term comfort, it is actively stealing your long-term happiness. Every single day you choose that easy comfort over action, you're literally building a biological habit of avoidance. You are training your brain that your dreams just don't matter. And that heavy nighttime guilt we just talked about, all it does is reinforce this toxic belief that you aren't good enough, which makes breaking the cycle the very next day even harder.
Section 3. The Perfectionism Illusion. Let's talk about fear in disguise.
Perfectionism is fear disguised as excellence. Wow. Just let that breathe for a second. You probably think you're just waiting for the perfect plan or holding out until you feel totally 100% ready. But guess what? Perfect never comes. Ready never comes. Having a crystal clear vision of success is amazing, but when anything less than absolute perfection feels like a failure, your brain uses that perfectionism as the ultimate excuse to just never start. Because think about it, if you never actually start, you can never actually fail, right? Deep down, it's just a paralyzing fear. A fear that if you actually try and it falls flat, you're gonna have to face the scary truth that maybe your ideas weren't quite as brilliant as you thought. We need to shatter that illusion right here, right now. Failure is not the opposite of success. Inaction is the true opposite of success. Seriously, when you fail, you actually learn something. When you do nothing, you learn absolutely nothing. Every single successful person you admire has failed way more times than you've even tried. The only difference? They took imperfect action. As long as you stay wrapped up in this cozy fantasy of inaction, sure, you are perfectly safe, but you are also going absolutely nowhere. Section 4, Motivation versus Discipline. Let's build the structure.
I know you're probably sitting there right now thinking, man, if I just had a little more motivation, everything would click. Or maybe you think highly successful people just have this magical, endless supply of motivation on tap. But that is simply not how human beings work. Motivation is nothing more than a fleeting feeling. And feelings, they come and go like the weather. You cannot build a solid life on a feeling. You need structure. You need systems. Discipline isn't some rare genetic trait you're born with. It's a structure you build, brick by brick, one tiny decision at a time. You just have to start way before you actually feel ready to start. And I'm going to be completely brutally honest with you here. Discipline feels terrible at first. It really does. Here's the secret nobody wants to tell you. Your brain is going to fight you tooth and nail. It's going to throw every excuse in the book at you. It will whisper that you're too tired, that you deserve a little break, that tomorrow is a much better day to start. But you know what? You're going to have to do it anyway. You have to take action, especially when you absolutely do not feel like it. Because every single time you push through that heavy, muddy resistance, you are physically rewiring your brain. You're teaching it that discomfort is not dangerous. And eventually, the resistance gets quieter. It gets easier. Not easy, mind you, but definitely easier. Section 5, Designing Better Systems. It's time to control your environments.
So, how do we actually fix this whole mess? Simple. Put your phone in another room. Go clear off that messy, scattered desk of yours. Block out a specific, non-negotiable time for focused work and defend it with your life. And please, for the love of everything, close the 50 random tabs you have open on your browser right now. You have to make it harder to be distracted than it is to focus. Every single time you eliminate a distraction from your space, you eliminate a totally exhausting, energy-draining decision. Your environment is dictating your behavior way more than you realize. Remember, successful people don't necessarily have superhuman willpower. They just have way better systems.
Section 6, Taking Imperfect Action. Stop preparing and start executing. All right, here is your practical roadmap forward. First off, you've got to stop consuming endless content. I mean it. You do not need more information. Your brain is just playing a trick on you, making you feel like learning about a thing is the exact same as actually doing the thing. It's just a sneaky form of avoidance. Second, just accept right now that your first attempt is going to be terrible. It's fine. Every masterpiece on earth started as a messy, rough draft. Quality comes way later. Consistency has to come first. And finally, please practice some self-compassion. You are going to mess up, you're going to slip back into your old patterns, and that is perfectly okay. Progress is never a perfectly straight line. Forgiveness actually gives you the permission you need to try again without carrying around the heavy baggage of your past failures.
Always remember this quote: lazy is not who you are. Lazy is what you have been doing. There is a massive, massive difference there. Who you are, at your core, is someone with real dreams and huge potential. What you have been doing is simply avoiding discomfort, because your brain just hadn't figured out yet that discomfort is the only thing that leads to growth. So, let go of the shame. It's not serving you.
It really all boils down to the number one. Pick just one single thing to do today. Start incredibly small. Please do not try to overhaul your entire life overnight. That is literally just your perfectionism talking again, trying to set you up to fail. Just pick one small, deeply imperfect action. Work for just 15 minutes. Write a single paragraph. Make one quick phone call. It honestly does not matter how ridiculously small it seems. Taking just one tiny step today proves to your brain that you're actually serious this time, and it starts building that momentum brick by brick.
Stop watching videos about change and start being the change. Look, ambition without action is nothing more than a fantasy. You've already spent way enough time imagining the exact life you want, so here is the real final question. Are you going to let your brain's ancient, outdated survival instincts steal yet another day from you? Or are you going to take one tiny, imperfect step right now to prove it wrong? Close this explainer, step right into the discomfort, and go build your future.